Okay, so how long have you lived in Moweaqua?
Well, practically all my life. I was, at my first marriage, I lived in Macon. And I lived there about a year and a half. And then I went into the service. I was in the service 2.5 years, and she didn't want to come back. So I came back here. I'll say, all except 5 years of my life, I lived here in Moweaqua.
Wow.
Well, I was born just going down the street. I think it's the third house down. I was born there.
Wow, that's cool. Do you have any children?
Three boys.
And do they all live around here too?
No. The oldest boy there, he lives in Louisville, Kentucky. And the youngest one there, he lives in North Carolina. And the one in the middle works at Caterpillar. And he lives in Assumption.
Mm-hmm.
But he comes around, he's not married, he just lives in an apartment down there. And he just stops by a lot of times, 2 or 3 times a week. And the other boys call me.
What do you do in Moweaqua, like, right now?
Huh?
What do you do in Moweaqua, like,
What do I do?
like, for fun around Moweaqua? Do you do anything, or?
No, I don't, just go uptown to the bowling alley and eat breakfast. Then come back and go to piecemeal, eat up there for noon, and then I go back to bowling alley for my supper. I can't cook, I never did. I know different ones has asked me about cooking. I said, I never did cook. I said, but I believe I could. I could boil eggs, that way it wouldn't make any difference if they came out too hard or too soft.
How old were you when you started working at the coal mine?
I before my 17th birthday.
Oh, really?
Was there an age limit? Did you have to be so old to work there?
Oh, there's a lot of them go down. It could be started at 16, but
There weren't very many.
well. A lot of them, their dads was. My dad used to work in the mine. And he got hurt in the mine, but when he died, and then it was they claimed with the coal dust on the lungs. But he wasn't living when I started. Him and I had a brother, and my dad both died in 1930. And I started working there just in 32, in a couple of just months for the first year, probably in October, I think, maybe October, November, and part of December of 1932.
Was it ever dangerous, like what you did?
Oh, I wouldn't know. We never think of it being that way. No, but then anytime you go down there, you don't know. But I had 2 uncles killed in it too.
What were some local businesses in Moweaqua during that time?
There wasn't too many, really.
Yeah.
It was whenever that happened. That was really a big blow for Moweaqua here, because they.
Yeah. Is that what brought on most of the business?
Yeah.
The coal mine?
That was.
Was the movie theater a popular place to go? Was the movie theater a popular?
Yeah,
place
they
to
had
go?
one. They had one here. You could go. I think it used to cost about 15 cents for kids, and maybe a quarter for older people.
Did you go there a lot? Did you like to see movies frequently?
Did I go a lot?
Yeah.
I used to get in free because I used to sweep the place out.
Did you own your own? Did you have a vehicle back then?
Did I have a vehicle?
Yeah. Did you have a vehicle?
No.
You didn't.
Mm-mm.
How old were you when you got one?
Oh. Well, now like I said, that happened in December of 32, and we cleaned it up. and they started working hoisting coal again in the fall of 33 and the fourth start of 34. And then they got where they was only, after went back in the winter part of 34, it was we were only getting 5 cents per pay because they was getting rid of all the coal, but it was they owed people to let them get stuff, and they like it was legitimate for them to take the coal, but like I said, they didn't have no cash to pay us with, so that's when they shut it down. Then it just.
Did you just like walk to the coal mine since you didn't have a
Well, I just lived over there, just about 2 blocks down there, maybe 2.5 blocks where I had to work.
Why did you decide to work the coal mine? Because why did you decide to work there?
Why did I?
Yeah, decide working.
I tell you, my mother had it rough. She was left with 3 kids, and it was rough. And she used to hang paper, and $1 a room. Just think paper in this room, just get $1 for it. And I used to go with her, and we had a little 2-wheel cart, and I would go push it. We'd go down there, and we had 2 ladders and a walk plant and a pasteboard on it. And I would, while she was hanging, I'd be pasting for another strip of paper to be hung.
Why did you not decide to work on the day of the disaster?
Well, I didn't decide it. The foreman did.
Oh, he decided that you were.
Yeah, he just told me not to come that day.
Oh.
But like I said, if I would have went, I'd have been with Ive Adams and Finn Pulaski right on the bottom there.
Mm-hmm.
But
how did life change after the disaster?
pardon?
How did life change after the disaster?
Oh, I tell you, it was an awful thing to get over with for that many people, and like a lot of them had kids left around my age, you know, and I practically knew all of them in the mine and working in the mine, and I knew their families. But
how far down did the mine go?
650 feet.
It's a long ways. How did you react when you first heard about the accident?
Well, I just didn't know what to do, but I went down there to the mine, but I couldn't go down there because you have to do that kind of stuff. You have to be a licensed miner.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to have papers. I had it, and when I started, then after we went working inside, there was a fella that signed up that I worked with so I could get my time in. Then I would have to go and take a exam to see if I could pass it.
Since I know there are a lot of immigrants that work there, did you know everyone?
I practically knew everyone, yes.
Pretty much everyone. Since it was on Christmas Eve, how did it affect everyone's Christmas?
Well, the fella that supposed to be Santa Claus, he got killed in there, in the mine.
So a lot of the kids were pretty sad about that.
Yeah. But it was just something, like I said, you know, if it had been a car accident, 3 or 4 people get killed and work on you, but when that many, but
what were conditions like in the mine?
pardon?
What were conditions like in the mine?
They weren't too bad. They weren't too bad. The coal vein, what we worked in, was between 4.5 and 5 foot.
How long was it before you started working there again, like after the disaster, when you went back to work?
That happened in 32 when we was mining coal again. In the fall of 33, and then I worked like I said, in the first part of 34, and then the latter part of 34, and then in 35, first part of 35, we wasn't getting our money, so they just closed it down.
And what did you do after it closed?
I went out on the inside and were mining the coal. I had to go in, there's a fellow signed up that would take me in to work with him while I'd get my time in where I could take the exam to get papers, as they call it.
What did you do when you weren't mining? Like, wasn't there a season?
Well, I used to work on a farm. Well, whenever you get it, $1 a day. Some places they got $1 a day on my board.
How many hours did you work at the coal mine each day?
Well, they'd lower it down. They'd start about 7:30. Well, the mine would start hoisting at 8 o'clock. And they'd let the people down, all the miners down, and then they'd start hoisting about 8 o'clock, and they'd shut it down at 4:30.
Did you take anything like with you to the mine every day, or did it just?
Yeah, we had lunch buckets. We'd have to carry our own lunch and water.
What kind of equipment did you use?
Oh, we had, I tell you, I could show, if you had time or something, sometime we'll run up to the museum up here, and they got all kinds of tools that they used.
Yeah, we went on a field trip there.
Well, like we used to have to drill holes in the coal, in the face of the coal. We'd have drill holes, and they'd use dynamite, and then you'd have to tamp that with stuff and everything. Then they'd have two men used to go around after we was all out of the mine, and they'd light that and to blow the coal down. But
how many years did you work there?
I just about. Well, I started, like I said, in 32, about just a little over 2 years at the most.
How did they use canaries? Like the birds, we learned that they use them down there.
I didn't hear you.
The canaries that they use down there, how'd they use them?
Well, they had them in a cage. It'll tell you on that thing on the wall out there, where they came, canary, if they would go any place, if the canary would fall over off of that, they knew there was gas in the mine.
Yeah. And how did you use the carbine lights?
Yes, used to, and then after the explosion, we had to go to lamps, like battery operated. And it had on a switch on it where you turn it, it'd be a bright light, and then turn it again, it would be dim. And on them, they had, there's numbers on little tags welded on them, and that was our lifeguard number, you know, I mean, for the number. If anything had ever happened again, they could know who it was. But we'd have to get them every morning. There's a guy over there every morning would pass the lamps out to us, and he'd always check them for lights or working. And then he'd put them on of a night when we come out, and then he'd put them on charge to charge overnight.
That's all we had to ask. So can we just take some pictures of that we have hanging up over there?
I talk a little louder.
Can we take some pictures of what you have hanging up over there?
Yeah,
The pictures.
sure. I wish I could have found that other thing.